channel, friends. Today I'm bringing y'all along for another thrifting adventure, and this morning we are headed out to an estate sale. I wanted to bring the camera along in case we found anything good, and I'm so excited that I did because there were some really beautiful finds. They were having this right down the road from where our booth is located, and I was needing to go in since 2 furniture pieces had sold on the previous day, and I wanted to bring a few new pieces to go in their place. So it ended up working out perfectly that we were going to be in town on the day of this estate sale. I don't make it out to as many estate sales as I would like because we're a good ways from town and usually have other things going on the days that they normally have them, but I was so happy to make it over to this one, and this was actually the second day of it, but thankfully there were still so many pretty finds left, lots of beautiful glassware and dishes, so it was really fun to dig around and look through all of these gorgeous pieces. All of our fun estate sale finds loaded up, and that is all the thrifting that we did on that day. And then this is the next day. I went into a peddler's mall after I got out of school. I like to do a lot of my thrifting in the evenings after I get out of school since I'm already in town anyway, so I wanted to run into this peddler's mall and then also into a Goodwill. And I loved these jadeite salt and pepper shakers. They're so pretty. I also love any type of unique pottery mugs, and they always grab my attention, so I thought that this one was super pretty. And I will share with you all of my peddler's mall finds as well as everything else that I found this week at the end as usual, and how I'm using the pieces, so stay tuned until the end for that. I also ran into the St. Teresa thrift shop this week, and I didn't end up bringing home any finds. However, I did spot so many beautiful pieces that I had to share. Look at this precious picture of this little girl and her dog. I decided to leave this behind for someone else because I have a lot of art right now that I've collected at home and in our booth, so I told myself no on all of the art that I spotted in here on this day. I'm learning the skill of admiring an item's beauty and history without always feeling the need to own it, because everything that we see and love doesn't always need to become a part of our physical life at home. I can appreciate its beauty without purchasing it. I've really started to realize that over the past few years, and it's something that I plan to really continue to practice more in 2024 and make only conscious purchases for our home and our small business. So I encourage you to keep that in mind when you are thrifting, to help you make a little bit more thought out purchases. It just really helps, especially when you're seeing so many pretty finds when you're out in the thrift stores and shops like that. So I wanted to mention that because all of this artwork was so pretty and really good prices. But again, I was trying to practice that art of admiring the beauty of it without needing to own it. And I have to also mention, I'm in no way perfect at this at all, but again, it's just one thing that I want to try to get better at when it comes to consuming. Okay friends, it is time for me to share with you all this week's thrift finds, and I'm going to go in the order of how I shared them in the shop with me. So the first place we went to was the estate sale, and then we went to the peddler's mall and then Goodwill. So we'll start out with our estate sale finds first, and the first thing that I brought home is this beautiful wicker picnic basket. This is such a nice basket. It is in gorgeous condition, and I love the beautiful color of this wicker. I also loved the leather handles and the little clasp in the front. This is just one of those pieces that is timeless and perfect for your vintage cottage home. I love to use these in a functional way in our home and store things inside of them, because it can be a good idea if you are limited on closet space or drawer space to use baskets like this for storage. For example, I know I've mentioned it before, but I love to store my yarn and extra fabric in these baskets. That way it's all in one place. I know exactly where it's at when I want to go start a project, and it's just a very beautiful way to store pieces. So I know I've mentioned this before too, but don't forget to check your thrift stores for baskets before you go out and buy brand new organizational baskets. It's so much more affordable, sustainable, and not only that, but you're also finding a really unique, one-of-a-kind piece that, again, you can use in such a useful way in your home. Okay, and then next from the estate sale, I found a few taper candle holders. I found 2 of these glass ones for $1 each. And then I also found a brass one, and there was only one of them. It was $2, but it's just so beautiful. Okay, the next thing from the estate sale is something that I never thought I would ever see, but the second that I spotted this, I just knew that I needed this in our home. It is this solid brass ornamental switch plate for only $3. Look how beautiful this is. Oh my goodness. I can only imagine the home that this came from. I just have no words. How beautiful is this? And I'm going to put this in our bathroom. We actually already looked at all the different rooms and tried to decide where this would look the best at to replace the one that's currently on there, and we decided to do it in the bathroom because it's a space that kind of needs some character, and I just feel like it would look really nice to have a little decorative plate in there. I think it's really special to be able to find pieces and save pieces like this that are no longer able to be used for whatever reason in their previous home, and give them a new home and a new life. And then I also was able to find 2 beautiful terracotta pots. I'll take you outside and share with you those. They still had some dirt in them, so I wanted to leave them outside, and I'll take the camera out there. They were $4 each, and they are such nice quality, very sturdy flower pots. And I mentioned this in one of my last videos that if you are able to, definitely try to thrift your flower pots for planting, because you can not only save money, but also it's just so much better than buying them brand new, because there's so many flower pots out there that you can find that are not only nice quality but also just so unique. I was so excited about these terracotta pot finds, and I cannot wait to use them outdoors this spring and summer. And I will be sharing with you lots of garden content as we make our way into that next season and start to plant things. I'm very excited to share a couple little vlogs and things like that, as I have in the past, with our fun like garden updates and things like that. Okay, now moving on to our peddler small finds. I was so excited to spot these beautiful Victorian advertising prints. I have thrifted some prints very similar to this before. However, these, there's just something about them that I love so much more, and I feel like they are just the perfect colors, the style of them, the frames. I love these so much, and I could not leave these behind. These are gonna go in my little office and dressing room space. Look at how beautiful these are. The colors. I have several pieces of clothing that I have thrifted that are very similar to that blue color that I have hanging currently on my clothing rack in there, so that's gonna really tie in with those. The colors in these prints are so much more me, I feel like, than the previous ones that I found. Those are beautiful as well, but I just feel like, again, these are just everything that I love, the colors and the frames. So I am gonna take those previous ones and put them in the booth for someone else, and then put these in their place in there in my dressing room, and I'll insert a picture or a clip of what that looks like here on the camera. But I think they're gonna just be so beautiful in there. And this is what the other one looks like. I'm just very drawn to Victorian, French type of prints and artwork, things like that. It's just, I don't know, something I love to incorporate. And then from the same booth where I found those Victorian prints, I also found this wicker bag. This booth had so many beautiful wicker and straw bags and just so much gorgeous stuff in general. It was new. We've been to this Peddler's Mall a ton and I'd never seen this booth, so I was very excited to come across this and to see all of her beautiful treasures. It's always so inspiring to see how other people curate and decorate their booths. That's why I love going to those peddlers malls and little antique malls and things like that. I love to go support other vendors and just look at the beautiful pieces that they have collected. And this was one of the pieces I was so excited to get to use in our home. It was $7 for this tote bag, and this is such nice quality, such a gorgeous piece, and I just love it. I cannot wait to use this for spring, and it matches the wicker color of that basket that I recently thrifted that is like a hanging basket, and I put those dried hydrangeas in it. It's like the same tone of wicker, so I love that it'll kind of match. And then next from the Peddlers Mall, we brought home this tiny egg basket, and it's in perfect condition. We love these egg baskets. One of my favorite things to collect, and it was $5. And then the last thing from the Peddlers Mall are these beautiful vintage cards. One of the cutest vintage cards I've ever seen, especially for spring. How pretty are these? I love the terracotta pots, the little house plant, the mason jar full of wildflowers, and everything about this whole scene on here. These were $5, and if you have never thrifted vintage cards to use for birthdays and holidays, things like that, I highly recommend it. It's so special, and it's given these beautiful vintage cards a new life. And one of the first things that I thought of as soon as I saw these is how they would make the perfect Mother's Day cards. I know that my mom and mother-in-law would love to receive one of these, so I'm definitely going to use these for their Mother's Day cards this year, so keep that in mind, or at least just go and look and see if you can find any before you go and buy one new. So I highly recommend that. It's something I've been trying to do a lot, so I was very excited to see these like garden themed cards, because they're just perfect for Mother's Day coming up, birthdays coming up, and also you can keep one and put it in a beautiful frame to use in your upcoming spring and summer decor. So just a couple ideas of how you can use those vintage cards. And now the last two things that I have are Goodwill finds. And again, speaking of garden items and flower pots, I found this gorgeous green flower pot, and this was, I believe, yeah, $4.99. And just look at the age and the wear and like the character on this. I just love this. It's the perfect shade of green. I just love everything about it. It's like chunky and thick, if that makes sense. I just love like how sturdy it is. So I was excited to see that. And then I also spotted these beautiful vintage salt and pepper shakers, and it was 99 cents for the set of 2. And that is everything that we found while we were out thrifting this week. Thank you so much for coming along for it. I hope that you enjoyed seeing all of our finds, and I will be sharing with you how I use some of these pieces in our home at the end like usual. It's so fun to share different ideas and kind of ways to use these pieces that I find. Thank you again for joining me weekly for these thrifting adventures. I love you all so much, and I will see you next week for a brand new video. Bye friends. Okay, now I wanted to take you around and share with you where I used some of these pieces in our home, and the first piece being this beautiful switch plate cover. And I'm gonna get some gold paint to be able to touch up those screws with, so that way it'll blend and match. But I love how it looks in there so far. It just adds so much character and charm to our small little bathroom. And I thought I would share a look at one of my other thrifted picnic baskets and how I'm using that one to hold all of my skeins of yarn that I have already worked up projects with. I like to keep those separate from my new yarn so that I know what I have or which colors that I might need more of when I go to do a project. I just restocked on some new yarn for some new projects that I'm going to start soon, and I added all of that new yarn into this picnic basket, and I love how much these hold. They're perfect for any crafting supplies that you might need to organize. And I also thought that I would include a few clips of some projects that I've been making in case you might be interested in seeing some recent crochet projects, and to give you some ideas if you love to to crochet, or maybe you're wanting to learn to help give you some ideas of some things that are practical to make and to use. I've been making these little produce bags with my cotton yarn, and I just love these so much. They are time consuming, but they're worth it to me because I just love them, and I know that I'll be able to get years and years of use out of them. I can leave the different patterns that I used for both of these bags here down below in the description box if you're interested, but I just thought that I would share in case you, again, love to crochet too. It's always fun to see other projects to get inspired and give each other ideas. And then I also wanted to take you into my little dressing room area and share with you how these beautiful Victorian prints look up on the wall. Again, I love how the colors match this room so well, and I just feel like they're an absolutely perfect fit for this space. I wanted to include a clip of these prints that I have on the other side of the room. They are also very Victorian, like sketches from, I believe, an old magazine, and I feel like they tie in so well with those new ones also. And so I wanted to kind of share how those look on the other side of the room and how they coordinate. And then I also decided to put one of these beautiful cards into a frame and have it out for spring. Of course, I haven't decorated for spring fully yet, but I just wanted to give you an example of another way that I'll use these vintage cards in our home other than just using them for gifts. And I love how it looks in this little frame. And that is going to be it for today's video. Thank you so much for joining me again this week, and I cannot wait to see you in my next one. Bye, friends.